So it's David King, aka the Monarch, here with Christian, aka XI, aka Gamma on Twitter. XI Gamma, a man of many names, man of many different sounds. You just dropped a couple of singles under the XI name.
Yeah, just dropped a couple hot ones on Immerse out of the UK. That one's getting a lot of good coverage, a lot of good press, and also on Foreman out of Texas, which has also been doing really well.
Cool, man. And where are people gonna catch you playing in the next little while?
You can catch me tonight. You can catch me next week in New York City playing at Dub War with Short Stuff, who's a Foreman label affiliate as well. And yeah, you can catch me playing in Hudmo later on in the month as well.
Cool. So you've kind of managed to distinguish two different projects. One's more on like the wonky hip hop side of this bass music push, and the other one's the dubstep thing that you've been doing and pushing for a while. So both of these projects have been forward thinking. What do you think forward thinking music is, and what does it mean to be a forward thinking musician?
I mean, just like not necessarily inventing the trend, but just not even being conscious of like any sort of trend development. Like, I think forward-thinking music definitely has a level of very like free and open thinking, and not really taking into consideration too much of like where things are currently trend-wise, but at the same time, using the same like recycling techniques that's used in a lot of other types of music to really showcase how you can reconstruct new music from old music.
Cool, man. I mean, I guess that really speaks a lot to the No Such Things and the Fly Lows and the Hudmos that you're playing with. I know you play with Sam I Am last night at the Drake Underground. The No Such Thing show has been described to me as one of the best shows of the year. At the end of last year, what's the vibe with these shows, and how does that vibe translate for you as an artist and as a DJ?
The vibe is incredible. I mean, it kind of makes me think back to when I was going to some of the first dubstep jams, and like really the whole experience was actually the vibe inside. Everyone's excited about something new, something emerging. People are there because they aren't going to hear tracks that they know and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they're excited to explore new avenues, and to have these great performers like Nosaj and Sam come and showcase that professionally, live PA style, really getting it in. It just creates one of the most like exciting party vibes that I've come across in a while.
Well, I know that a lot of dubstep DJs and producers tend to be a stickler for vinyl, and for spinning off either vinyl or CDJs.
For sure.
Why is it that this new experimental hip hop movement seems to be so free with sequencers and my man Henry, rocking that MPC and rocking out on it? What's the difference, and why do you think people are more open to new ideas of production and performance?
Well, I think basically what it comes down to, specifically in this emerging form with the live PA aspect, is that a lot of it's created on samplers. A lot of it's performed to a recorded track and then just output like that. It's not this. It's not the same way as a lot of like techno or dubstep or drum and bass or those kinds of things are made more in sort of like a sequenced and arranged kind of format over a long period of time. So I think what it definitely comes down to is that they perform the tracks to make them, so they may as well perform them live. It's a lot more exciting, I think, to see it that way. So I mean, I think that's basically what it comes down to, really.
And how do you think the city of Toronto has been supporting this kind of forward-thinking music that has kind of like propelled you into a name that comes up on a lot of bills and is actually getting pushed to kind of a more mainstream audience, even with like the Rusco show and, for example, like the Bass Mentality Party going on at 751? How do you think that translates for you as an artist and for the city of Toronto in embracing you?
I think it's great. They really picked up well on this sound. I think a lot of people are just there was a big like occurrence midway through the 2000s where music seemed to go into this like mutated form. Everything was changing. Everything was becoming a new mutated version of something from the early like millennium, and there was this big push of excitement and everything. And I think what it's really coming to right now is like a culmination. And people in Toronto have been really supportive of that. I think it's great. I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with this project originally. I didn't really think there was too many outlets or avenues for me to perform this kind of thing. It was just sort of coming up. And yeah, I think the way that people have embraced it, specifically because there is a large bass music-driven culture here, as well as like a live performance culture with the indie rock scene being very strong here as well. that yeah, they've been incredibly supportive, and it's just great that these avenues are becoming more and more available, and the parties are getting bigger and bigger all the time.
And do you think lives? You mentioned live getting a lot of love recently. You think that the live performance aspect of the No Such Things of the world is bringing out an audience that might not have come to a dubstep party and kind of going after more of a live music influenced culture?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely has that appeal for people. I actually personally know a lot of people who, like a lot of electronic music, a lot of DJ music, and have been to a lot of parties like that, and they're just bored of seeing a DJ because, from the musical standpoint, obviously they're getting what they want. They hear the tracks they like, they get to dance, everything's cool, right? But it's like, eventually you just want, a bigger, more exciting, more involved element. I feel like the crowd gets into it a lot more when there's a live performance aspect, especially when a Daedalus played here recently. That was amazing. The way he's got the mono flip forward and he's, showing the crowd how he's doing it, live. I thought that was great, man. It gets the people involved a lot more. The DJ kind of isolated. It's almost as if, you could have a really good iPod playlist or something going in some occasions, So it adds an extra element of, I guess you're bringing a lot more passion to the table, I feel like.
Well, Christian's definitely a guy who's passionate about music. He's been advancing and working on a lot of great projects in the city that have kind of taken him on tour around the world. He's been a pioneer for the city, and definitely you'll catch him on every major bass music, experimental hip-hop bill in the city because the city shows him that much love and respect. So thank you very much.
Yo, thank you, and I want to thank everybody else who's been very supportive over the last couple of years, man.
Cool.